Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Amani Talks podcast. You're here with your host, Amani, on the podcast where we discuss our Christian-based topics and deepening our relationship with the Lord. I'm sure you guys see, okay, we have a special guest with us today, Sir Philip Wortham. Okay, he's going to join us. He hopped up on here. Usually he leaves me alone when I'm recording, but hey, I'm going to let him do him, okay? Because they're usually very good cats when I'm recording. I have zero complaints. Very good cats. So you guys are going to see Phil in the background today. Say hey, Phil. Okay, so let's get into our series of a proverb a day. We are on July 13th, so Proverbs 13. We are continuing on getting our wisdom for the day and starting off our morning with a word from the Lord, okay? What we do here is we read the entire chapter. We go through and we highlight key verses that just resonate with us and things that just stick out and things that we see and we're like, oh, okay, yeah, because I thought, so that's what we do, y'all. So let's get into the chapter for the day. Okay, Proverbs 13. A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke. Hey, don't scratch the furniture. A man shall eat well by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the unfaithful feeds on violence. He who guards his mouth preserves his life, but he who opens wide his lips shall have destruction. The soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made rich. A righteous man hates lying, but a wicked man is loathsome and comes to shame. Righteousness guards him whose way is blameless, but wickedness overthrows the sinner. There is one who makes himself rich yet has nothing, and the one who makes himself poor yet has great riches. The ransom of a man's life is his riches, but the poor does not hear rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked will be put out. By pride comes nothing but strife, but with the well-advised is wisdom. Wealth gained by dishonesty will be diminished, but he who gathers by labor will increase. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but when the desire comes, it is a tree of life. He who despises the word will be destroyed, but he who fears the commandment will be rewarded. The law of the wise is a fountain of life, to turn one away from the snares of death. Good understanding gains favor, but the way of the unfaithful is hard. Every prudent man acts with knowledge, but a fool lays open his folly. A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a faithful ambassador brings health. Poverty and shame will come to him who disdains correction, but he who regards a rebuke will be honored. A desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is an abomination to fools who depart from evil. He who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. Evil pursues sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Much food is in the fallow ground of the poor, and for lack of justice there is waste. He who spares his rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines him promptly. The righteous eats the satisfying of the soul, but the stomach of the wicked shall be in want. That was a lot. Every verse gave you a good something. Like every verse was like, yeah, like I know that's right. We are now in the fourth chapter of this section of Proverbs to where Solomon is just giving his wise sayings. It's like you could really pinpoint any verse from chapter 13 and it's like, yeah, it's really gonna hit. So it's kind of hard to even pinpoint a key verse for this one. I think 13 gives really good principles. The soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing. That's verse 4. When you have dreams, but you put no action behind those dreams, they are just delusion. That's it. Even the word tells us when it comes to our own faith, faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith in the world. You can have all the potential in the world. You can have all the imagination in the world. But if you're not working these things out, if you're not putting these things to some kind of practical application, then they really do mean nothing. James 2:14 says, "What does it profit, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you says to them, 'Depart in peace, be warmed and filled,' but you do not give them the things which are needed for the body, what does it profit? Thus also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." I just love when the scripture affirms itself. It's like there's so many cross references in the Bible to where it's like you read a verse and you can bring up 5 more verses easy that affirms exactly what this verse is talking about. Like the context is always there. I also like verse 22, and it says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous." I like the first part of verse 22 because that's very practical to me. I'm a real like application kind of practical person. Like, okay, what does this actually look like in real life? A good man leaves an inheritance, not just to his children, but his children's children. That's how hard men should be working. Okay. Let's bring back men working. Let's bring back men leaving an inheritance, not just for their children, but for their children's children. Let's bring back that legacy. Yeah, everybody talks about legacies. Everyone talks about the stamp that they want to make on the world through their name. They're not even really thinking about their own children, let alone their children's children, when they're thinking about legacies. And we're not saying that anybody has to be rich. That's not practical. That's not even true. But you should be working hard in this life that you produce something, not just for you, but for your descendants. Your descendants that are not even born should be able to depend on you right now. You should be doing something to leave behind something that God gave you, because that's really what it is. It's like the parable of the talents. You should be out there multiplying what God gave you by hard work. You should be out there stewarding well what God has given you, the 80 something or plus or minus years that you have on the earth. Not squandering it, not burying it, not ignoring it. It says a good man leaves an inheritance. A good person multiplies what the Lord gives them by going out there and working. Faith without works is dead. And lastly, another verse that I really liked from Proverbs 13 is verse 24. "He who spares his rod hates his son, but he who loves him disciplines him promptly." And that reminds me of another verse. Let's cross-reference, okay? Hebrews 12:6 says, "For whom the Lord loves, he chastens, and scourges every son whom he receives." So if the Lord disciplines his children whom he loves, why shouldn't you do the same thing, knowing that it's just for the child's good? A lot of things in this life we are only replicating. We are only a small physical example of what the Lord has already created. Like, for example, marriage. Marriage is to us is huge, right? To us, it's a big deal while we're on earth. But it's such a small representation of the love that Jesus has for the church. And we know that that's what marriage represents. Us being able to physically have our own children and love these children is such a drop in the bucket, like a small representation of how the Lord loves his children, how he loves us. No matter how much you love your kids, God loves them and you more. I know for me, when it comes to just taking anything here that we read today and really thinking about it and applying it to my life, because that's really what the point of this is, you guys. Like, we should be taking in this proverb a day and really saying, okay, what have I learned? And what am I going to apply to my life? That's why I'm constantly asking on every episode, what sticks out to you guys? Because these are the verses that are sticking out to me that I'm saying, okay, this is a small portion of the renewal of my mind. When I hear the words, how is this going to impact my life? I think verse 4 really stuck out to me the most, because for me, I do have a problem with over consuming when I feel like I deserve a day off. I have a problem with constantly being in my comfort zone. I have a problem with just sometimes laziness. I will admit it. I will admit it, which is why this proverb a day, I hope it's edifying to you and helping you, but y'all don't understand how much it's really helping me. Like, for real, for real. So when I think about the things that I want out of life, sometimes I'm like, man, do you ever stop and you have these things that you'd want to accomplish in life, and you go, man, if I would have kept doing that, or if I would have just kept it up, if I would have just stuck to this plan, I'd be so far by now. I'd be doing this, I'd be doing that. We all do it. We all say, oh, coulda, woulda, shoulda. But it's like, well, you could have. Why didn't you? You can right now. When you have nothing in your life that you have desired, you need to come back to Proverbs 13 and say, okay, am I lazy? One thing I figured out about life is there's only really, but we can get into, different angles of this, but just stay with me. I really figured out the only thing that separates the people that succeed in life from the people that don't is the hard work and discipline. That's it. For me as a content creator, when I see these creators blow up and they have 5 million followers and subscribers, and they eventually come back and they tell us what their method was to getting their follower count up, to getting their views up, and they say, oh yeah, I was posting 10 times a day. And I go, 10 times a day? I don't even want to post 10 times in a week. And they were posting 10 times a day? But that was it. It's not that these people are better than you. It's not that these people are smarter than you. It's not that they're prettier than you. It's not any of that. They were just willing to put in the work that you were not. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. Discipline is the only thing that is stopping you from achieving what you want out of life. Proverbs said that, not me. Proverbs called us lazy. Yeah. Man, Proverbs is getting us together. I'm still cackling about how chapter 12 opened with basically calling us stupid. It said, he who hates correction is stupid. And there have been times where you hated correction, sis. Me too. I hate when someone corrects me. I hate when someone tries to argue with me. And it's not even, forget the fact if they're right or they're wrong. Just the fact that sometimes we're not open to correction. Solomon said, yeah, because you be acting stupid. Like, yeah, Proverbs will get you together real quick. That's what I'm slowly starting to appreciate about this book of the Bible. Well, that is it, you guys. We have read through Proverbs 13. Let me know what your highlighted key verses, what your major takeaways were from this chapter. Put it in the comments, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye.